Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening if you are in Europe or in the United Kingdom. And here we are once again for the weekly astrological forecast. How is this week going to be? How was last week? How is March unfolding for you all in general? Hi, Poonam. Good to see you here. And so, this week, there is a build-up of quite significant energies. So it's going to feel a little bit more, just as we thought. Well, actually, things have been quite interesting already, really. And hi, Kay Ulrich, good to see you here. And, um, we have had some stuff going on the world stage, and I think the best position to be in is to, hi Sharon, is to be the observer, to sit back and observe. There are a lot of things unfolding on the planet that, hi Parry, hi Judy. There are a lot of things unfolding on the planet which are potentially very challenging. Some of these things I think are making people upset and angry, and all sorts of emotions are coming out at the moment. And yes, good morning, Soul Fam, my lovely Soul Fam. First of all, we're building up to a very powerful full moon lunar eclipse this week in Virgo on Friday the 14th. Well, on some parts of the planet, it's on the 13th, and in some places, it's on the 14th, depending on your particular time zone. Now, I'm going to come to that because there's almost like a climax of energy coming this week. And it starts really on Tuesday. So tomorrow, Monday, we're kind of okay. I mean, if I just kind of look at the energy very briefly for tomorrow, I can tell you exactly how it's going to be. So we're just going to go on one day, and we come to the 10th of March. So the moon's going to be in Leo tomorrow. And basically, the planets are all bunched up in their stellium in Pisces. They're now bunching up in Aries. So we are getting this real energy building, and it's building towards this full moon. So tomorrow, in effect, I think by this time tomorrow, and I know for a lot of you this is first thing in the morning, you'll be waking up over there on the west coast of Canada and America feeling quite flexible, quite hopeful, quite optimistic about how the week is going to unfold. Maybe in many ways, even actually looking forward to the full moon on Friday, wondering what that is going to kick off, because there is something about this full moon that has a finality about it. Now, we could hope that the finality is the ending of the various wars we've got going on in different parts of the planet. Or we could just hope that it's the ending of people behaving ridiculously or not seeing things clearly. But we'll come to that in a minute. Ravina, hi, good to see you here. What to expect for babies born around this eclipse? Okay, I will have a look at the chart for the lunar eclipse and give you a little bit of insight. I'll come to that in a minute because I'm going to start with, so I'm just telling you how you're going to be feeling tomorrow. I think there's going to be a general sense of excitement, and I think fired up. The imagination is going to feel quite wired tomorrow. And it is this sense of excitement. You know, Uranus in Taurus is just kind of moving ever so slowly closer to, kind of some sort of, it's waiting to do something. Something is waiting in the wings. Finality of distraction and essential looking alike. Jim, I'm thinking about what you're referring to with that. Right. Now, that actually is very interesting, Jim. Clarity. Okay. Yes, I think we're going to get more clarity. And I think if we start with what's going on, let's go to Tuesday, because Tuesday, retrograde Venus in Aries is conjunct Mercury. So Venus, remember, is our planet about relationship. It's also about how you value you. It can also be about our financial situation, our material possessions, how we make our money. That can come under the sign of Venus. And we may be looking at alternative ways with Venus retrograde to encourage our piggy bank to fill up a bit more. And Venus on Tuesday, retrograde Venus, is conjunct our planet of communication, Mercury, in Aries. Now, Mercury, of course, is about to go retrograde. So they have, gone straight forward into Aries from Pisces, and they're having a look around in this fiery place, and they're thinking, do I want to be here? Is it a bit hot? Maybe I'll just retreat a bit and give everything time to settle down. And that, I think, is what is going on at the moment. I think this is very much a time about needing to take a step back and observe. No knee-jerk reactions to anything in any country, anywhere. There's a lot going on everywhere. I mean, the news throws it at you in different ways every day. So there is no limit to what we're being exposed to. So Venus conjunct Mercury, and Venus being retrograde, on a mundane level, because in the event chart it's in the 5th house, could mean you hear from an old flame. So, or if you are an old flame, you may want to get in touch with somebody who's also an old flame and just reconnect and say, we left things a little bit heated, a little bit difficult. Let's see if we can make things a little bit more gentle and a little bit easier, and perhaps move forward being friends. What's this? Aloha J. 2025 is what? Your reality. I'm not sure I'm following your thread, Aloha J. The reality is whatever we want it to be or how we view it. And I think how we observe the reality we experience is also what we experience. And I think it's about remembering and reminding ourselves to not give energy to the dark side, to the shadow side, to the negative. I'm just seeing what you're saying, Kay Ulrich. I'm so sorry. My condolences around your father's passing, and you're laying him to rest. That's going to be a tough day for you. And we actually do have the sun is conjunct Saturn, interestingly, on Wednesday. So that's kind of rather poignant energy to be laying someone to rest, because Saturn is about endings. Sun is the masculine or the father. So the energy would bode well in many ways and allow an outpouring of emotion in a very healing and helpful and healthy way. So that is actually, I think, quite important. Surely we are by nature observers and thereby learners. Yes, very much so, Shirley. That is an incredibly good point. But if we just come back for a minute to Tuesday and this Venus conjunct Mercury, I think also there's going to be energy around on Tuesday that maybe kicks off tomorrow around the kind of economy in general, around foreign exchange, around currencies. And it's as if there's been quite a lot of unrest because of events that have been unfolding on the planet. And so the markets have been quite turbulent. And this is all going to, I think, come to a kind of crescendo on Tuesday, where brokers in general, via morphic resonance, all kind of think to themselves, hey, we need to cool it. Let's just slow down. We don't have to react so strongly to what this leader says or what this leader says and allow it to affect the world financial markets. We can actually decide and choose to make them healthy. So I think there's something quite, for me, quite healthy about this conjunction on Tuesday between retrograde Venus and conjunct Mercury, our planet of communication. So I think that could actually, it's almost like the market people, the foreign exchange people, the financial whiz kids start to become a little bit more creative. They start thinking outside of the box. They start looking for the energy of Pluto in Aquarius. They sense the energy of Uranus in Taurus and think, we could really do something here which kind of wakes people up a bit. Because yes, they have woken people up. And I think it's really important to remember the reality that probably the majority of people on the planet, and that probably includes you and I, experience. And you know, I'm in a fortunate position where I'm fairly blessed with my situation. However, I will go for the cheapest bottle of olive oil, for example. I want you to get the analogy of that, because I think the way we are all feeling at the moment is that we're very careful about what we do spend our money on. And there will be certain luxuries, and Venus can represent luxuries, that we just won't put the cash out for, because actually it's like, do I really need this? Can I live without it? Can I get through the next month without the really special extra virgin pressed virgin olive oil? And the answer is yes, of course we can. So I think that a large portion of society are moving into a sort of a state with themselves where we are observing what's going on in the world and we're thinking, whoa, we need to put the brakes on. I think collectively we are slowing down on our spending. And I think that is coming from the astrological kind of energies that are abounding at the moment. And you know, if we move on to the 12th, when the sun is conjunct Saturn. Now, Saturn is all about limitation and restriction. And I just wanted to say, you're very welcome to Kay Ulrich about the right timing for the laying to rest of your father. And I give you my prayers for him. And hi, AMAC, good to see you here. And Empress Energy, good to see you. Hi. And, you know, Wednesday, we've got the sun conjunct Saturn. The sun, remember, is our life force. Without the sun, we ain't going anywhere. The sun is also about leadership. Remember, it rules the sign of Leo. And the sun at the moment is drowning in Pisces. Now, I'm just going to give you clues, and you have to be the detectives, because Empress Energy, bless you so much. That'll go towards the cat treats, and I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. And the Sun and Saturn are conjunct in Pisces. Now, the Sun and Saturn are still conjunct, except they're a degree apart for the full moon eclipse in Virgo. Pisces is a sign of spirituality. Pisces, with the Sun in Pisces, can represent spiritual leadership, leadership that expresses itself through spirituality. Leadership that is able to tune in to their gut instinct and work from a gut intuitive part of themselves about what unfolds. Saturn, remember, is about limitation. It's about restriction, containment. It's also about ending and endings. So we have to look at this energy that is building towards the full moon lunar eclipse on Friday. So for Wednesday, with the Sun, yes, Poonam, intuitive leaders would be so refreshing. You know what? We can intend that for them. We can, we have to remember that if we feed the negative, then we just expand it. If we feed the light and the positive, and if we feed that kind of capacity for our leadership in whatever form that is, to think with their heart and not always with this, to feel with their heart and not with this, to feel with their soul and not with their bank account. There's been a lot going on in British politics in the last week to do with the Reform Party that has been kind of coming up hot on the heels of both Conservatives and Labour Party. And they've got into a little bit of a sticky patch. And some of the comments that have been floating around are that there is kind of one side that is financially oriented in that party and one side that is very altruistic and charitable and of service. And I think that this is a really important point, because if our leaders do not set us the example of service, if they are about their ego, if they are about their persona and themselves, if they are caught in their inflation, then they're also going to be caught in how they accrue finances into their system, into their bank accounts. So and I would say, Jim, we are what we eat and how we get fed. It's, intuitive leaders, exactly, Poonam. Thank you, Shirley. Yes. And you see, I think that what we're building up to see is there has to be an enormous change, and there will be an enormous change that will happen most probably this week or next week. It may even happen on Friday when we have the full moon. And I'm just going to move on to this full moon lunar eclipse now. So it's on the 14th. It's a full moon. It's a total lunar eclipse. It's totally visible across Canada, parts of Alaska, and North America, and parts of South America. That means energetically, it is affecting all the Americas, Canada, and parts of Alaska. It's affecting your leaders. It's affecting your leadership. On a mundane level, it's affecting how you look after your own. If you are alone, It's how you manage you. So think about this full moon, and my video for the full moon will be up soon. The lovely Jerry is probably working on it as we speak. And I had a bit of a crisis about the full moon video that I've done. And I'll be very interested to see how you receive it, because first of all, I watched it through after I'd recorded it and I thought, no, not sure, not happy, don't like it. I don't think I get the essence of it. And I wrote to Jerry, emailed him, and I said, forget that video I've sent. That's why it's a bit late. I said, forget that video I've sent you. It was rubbish. It was rubbish. I don't want you to upload it. Anyway, later that night, I re-listened to it. So I just listened to the audio and not got distracted by me and my hands waving all over the place all the time. And so I just listened to it and I thought, and I think this is something about the energy of this full moon, which is why I'm bringing in this story. And I thought, hang on a minute, Penny, are you too hard on yourself? Where is this full moon? Virgo. What is it about Virgo? They're critical, they're analytical, they're about the minutiae. I was being so ultra critical of myself in my full moon video that I nearly just delete. So I'm so glad that I held off and actually allowed it to be free, to go to Jerry to just do his twiddly bits where he does the magic thing with the chart and then magically takes it away and then puts the thumbnails up. And I'm hoping it'll be up tomorrow or on Tuesday. And I'll be really interested to see what you think about it, because I'm kind of letting this out there and I'm thinking, oh, I don't know. But actually, sometimes it's about warts and all, and it's about the expression of the energy comes through in the description of the astrology. So this full moon lunar eclipse, yes, Poonam, perfectionism is a yoga of yoga. That's interesting. So it's yoga as well. Virgo trait. Yes, Shirley, we are always hard on ourselves. Yeah. Do you know what? I said, for goodness sake, Penny, be kind to yourself. Actually, it's okay. And it's not that it's substandard to what I do. It's slightly different, and I've taken a few risks with it. Although I know that at the end of the day, I didn't really say what I wanted to say. But I think it'll become clear why I couldn't. That's all I can say, because I'm not even going to say what that is today, because I think there is something about a significant ending with the full moon lunar eclipse in Virgo that is to do with the energy of what is happening with the Sun conjunct Saturn in Pisces. So if you know your astrology, you will get a sense of what I'm alluding to, or what this could allude to. We have to remember that we are always kind of, almost at every moment of time, we have a choice, a myriad choice of many timelines to go down. And the timeline that I was looking down when I recorded the full moon video was a timeline that led me down where it did and led me to this point where I came to an inner conclusion about what it could mean. But within all of that, I knew I couldn't actually broadcast that. And that may be because it is about allowing what has to unfold, and that if I jump ahead on that timeline, I actually change it, because we're not supposed to know. Saturn is opposite the moon. Saturn is conjunct the sun. Saturn is saying, slow down. These things are about timing. It's about timing. There is a time to say these things and a time, yes, organically, Shirley, a time to keep quiet. And I don't want to disrupt the energy of what the collective unconscious frequencies are of how this full moon in Virgo eclipse is most likely to unfold. Let me just look at it from a different point of view, because you were asking me, Ravina, about babies born at the time of a full moon eclipse. And this is a full moon eclipse in Virgo. Babies that are born this Friday, what's this? Roshandi Earthling, your natal moon is at 20 degrees of Virgo. So this full moon eclipse is conjunct your natal moon. You're going to feel this. And remember, depending what your rising sign is, will determine the area of your life that you're going to feel this, because it's not always, I think we can tend to get caught into the fear and paranoia of, oh my goodness, Saturn's opposite the moon. Oh my goodness, this is an eclipse. Oh, it's about endings. Oh, it's about, all sorts of terrible things. Sometimes endings are very necessary and good. And sometimes endings set us free. And so what I'm feeling is that this is a timely letting go. You're a Cancer rising. Okay. Listen, I'm going to do an astrobite for Friday for the full moon, which will be uploaded for Friday. And I will go through each individual sign for the full moon lunar eclipse and tell you which part of your chart you can expect this full moon energy to be triggering. So that will be out on Friday. I haven't recorded it yet, but that's what I'm going to do. So what I want to say is that sometimes these events pass us by and we go, oh, what was that about? Did anything significant happen? I don't know, because we have to also look at it on a very, we have to look at it on a very mundane level as well. Virgo is about health. Virgo is about also our psychological well-being. It is about service to others. Virgo is, in a sense, it's about care and our routine. Is there a routine that you've outworn? Is there a routine you need to let go of? Is there a habit that you need to let go of, that you need to break, that you need to change? That could be to do with anything. It could be to do with relationship, money, career, your health. So you have to look at it in the context in which we see it, because we often view eclipses as quite, as if something terrible is going to happen. Because remember, the light is removed from the moon by the earth. So if we take the symbolism of, let's say we've got the sun here. My head is the earth, and here's the moon. And so my head, the earth, is blocking out the light of the sun on the moon. And so the moon will actually turn crimson or red. We can take all of that symbolism in its full, beautiful glory. The lights go out, the light dims. The moon is nurturing, caring, mothering, caring, health. Do you feel overlooked? Is there something around at the moment that is making you feel unheard, not taken seriously, just kind of bypassed? Are you maybe not hearing what someone is saying to you? Are you energetically bypassing somebody, something? So Moon opposite Saturn is strong, strong energy, and it cuts, but it may be something personal to you. Hi, Carrie. Oh, bless you. Thank you, my love. I appreciate. There may be something that you have to cut, and only you can know what that is. So if we elevate this up to an international level, I think for the UK, we need to watch what's going on in the Reform Party, because this could see the ending of somebody's career, to say it how it is. If we look, say, to Canada, where I know you are about to have your elections for a new prime minister, then it is significant change. And I don't know much about one of the candidates, but I do know quite a lot about Mark Carney, and he was the governor of the Bank of England for quite a few years. And I think he's a cool guy. I think he's a good bloke, and I think he would be, yes, Rashandi, the Reform Party is imploding, and it's such a shame, such a shame. So I think that now I've lost my thread. What was I talking about? So Reform Party, and never mind, it's gone. So what I'm saying is it is about, also the moon, we have to remember, can mean the people, the collective. And in the event chart, it's actually in the 6th house. So it's actually in the house that it rules. Not the moon doesn't rule the 6th house, but Virgo rules the 6th house. And yes, Simi, I think I'd love to see Carney in a position of responsibility again. I liked him. He was quite cute as well. So there we go. So I do feel this full moon, and I was going to look at it that's right, in regard to a babies born with a full moon eclipse. Interestingly, Donald Trump was born on an eclipse, a full moon eclipse. And you can make of that what you want. And this full moon, I believe, although I haven't looked at his chart, but I believe it squares some quite significant points in his chart. So this could be a significant week, this week and next week, for the president of the United States. And in fact, it's making me think I should have a look at all these charts of Vance, Trump, Musk, Nigel Farage, the Reform Party, all of them. I think there needs to be a little bit of an accountability there. So thank you, Shirley. Bless you. Yes, Rushandi, he was great at the Bank of England. And, I think you'll fare well, Canada, if you vote for him. So I'd put my money on him. Babies born on eclipses are probably always going to have quite dramatic and erratic and exciting lives, depending, of course, on the nature of the sign where the eclipse is and the ascendant. So the ascendant for universal time, and remember, wherever you are on the planet, that ascendant is going to change. So I'm on universal time, which is basically Greenwich Mean Time. And the ascendant for this chart is Aries. So everything is actually in its kind of zodiac house. And so what I'm saying is, a baby born on Friday is most likely going to want to go into the service professions in some way, and will probably be deeply spiritual. They may actually want to be part of a religious movement, depending where they are in the world and religion or culture they're brought up in. And they could well rise to the top of their tree in a religious context. And I think also they are the children who would want to change the way things are done from a health perspective. They would want to bring in new ideas to how hospitals are run, how prisons are organized. They would want to change everything and really reinvent the whole way that we care for either the sick or those who are imprisoned, and to find better ways and more mature ways of handling with these energies. I'm just seeing what you're saying, Parry. Social harmonization and healing is always the way to clear out the energies that are not based on sanity. Yes, honesty, integrity, and kindness. Absolutely, Parry. And yes, Shirley, transformative times. Hi, Janice. You're late. First beautiful day in a long time. It's been beautiful here in Gozo as well. Slightly warmer. And so it's not been too bad at all. But we need to move on to next Saturday because, of course, this is where the week is so action-packed. So remember that this full moon on the 14th is the day before, or a few hours before, Mercury, our planet of communication, goes retrograde. So on Saturday, Mercury goes retrograde in Aries at 9 degrees, and it stays retrograde till April the 7th, and it will go back as far as 26 degrees of Pisces. So it will actually go back to be conjunct the North Node. There is something about this particular Mercury retrograde that is going to bring in a kind of revolution of karmic sense of destiny of how things can unfold and what one needs to relook at to initiate that, to bring that in. Because Mercury is going retrograde in a cardinal sign, the cardinal sign of Aries. It is going to go back into Pisces, which is mutable and flexible. It is going to be really working hard at very much getting us to look at what have we brought with us to this point. So we have to remember the South Node is in Virgo. This is where we're going to be super critical about this cell. So as I was describing a bit earlier in this video about my self-criticism about my video for the full moon and how I'm, having to sort of talk to myself and remind myself that everything doesn't have to be absolutely perfect. And I'm not always going to get it right, and it doesn't matter. It's a viewpoint. Whatever I interpret from the astrology, it's my intuitive viewpoint of a point in time. And, in some ways, that's what makes astrology such a free subject to work with, because no one can really disprove you or prove you unless you are absolutely, completely unaware of what anything means. So an interpretation is an interpretation. And Joey, you're looking for Friday and energy. Use it that way. Ask for energy. Ask for an end to apathy and procrastination and a surge of energy. Why not? Just invite it in. And yeah, we should do, Parry, get lost in the beauty around us. Absolutely. How often? You see, this is where it is so important to, as many YouTubers say, especially channelers, astrologers, Pam Gregory's always saying it, various others are always saying it, turn off the news. Yes, we need to be kind of informed, but what we do is we really get caught into this, it can take us down those rabbit holes of negativity. And it's so important to detox ourselves from news channels. In the Christian faith, it's Lent. And this is where we are supposed to give up bad habits or something that is not good for us. I suggest we should be giving up the news and keeping ourselves reliably informed, but absolutely switching it off and not watching it. So, and yes, coming back to what you're saying, Shirley, about me really working hard to find my authenticity. I did Sarah and I recorded a video this afternoon for our channel, Channeling and Stranger Things, and in it I was describing, so it's up on our channel, do go and check it out. We're talking this time about orbs and the various forms of channeling, how I experience channeling and how she experiences channeling, and we're just melding the two together and seeing what unfolds. But one of the things I was talking about was a crisis of faith, and I think that it's actually terribly healthy to constantly question one's authenticity, one's faith in one's abilities, and how one moves forward. So that for me to be ultra critical of the video that is now going to go up on my channel isn't a bad thing, but I think at the same time I have to balance it with some kind of some kindness and just go, well, maybe I shouldn't be the judge and jury of my work. Maybe I should risk putting it out there and saying, okay, you be the judge and jury. You don't have but you don't have to judge it. Because actually, that's one of the things that maybe we should give up for Lent. Maybe we should give up altogether judgment. Maybe Mercury retrograde could help us go back and look at how much we judge and have judged things, people, events over the last few weeks, months, and look at how we can actually change that and say, I can let this go. I don't have to keep being the judge and jury of everything, the critical person, why can I not just be the observer? Carrie, you're saying you used to watch the news a lot, and after the plane crash in DC, you turned it off. Oh, I do agree. It makes such a difference when you turn off. Oh, you tune into me, bless you. And yes, it does not actually serve us or feed us well to see misery and gloom and doom. I remember in the old days with the good old BBC, they used to always at the end of the news say, and on a lighter note, today, Rod Stewart, for instance, got married again. I can't remember how many times he's been married, but probably several times. So they would bring in a little bit of feel good or nice news. We don't get that, do we? We don't get, oh, Penny has lost her cat George and he was refound. Isn't this wonderful news? Which, of course, he did get lost, as you know, a few months ago, and he was refound. And that was just the most amazing, joyous thing for me. And I don't ever want to let poor George out my sight again. And at the moment, I don't. And so what I'm saying is there's something about the Mercury retrograde, any retrograde planet, you can use it in a very constructive way to actually look at your authenticity and where you actually are true to yourself and true to your beliefs. And, as I said, I had this crisis of faith yesterday where I really questioned how do I know that when I'm channeling, I am channeling? How do I know it's not my imagination? And I really went into an absolute black hole of negative doubt and self-criticism. And finally, though, the positive side of that was that I worked through it strongly enough. I worked through it from my core to the point where I woke up this morning to the most wonderful confirmation from the blue light beings that we're here. You are receiving information from us. I'm not going to tell you what it is, because then you don't need to go and listen to the other video. So go and watch it on our channel, Channeling and Stranger Things, because I talk about it in today's video. So how do you know? How do you know? You find out. Yes. Yeah. That's true. Yeah, I like that, Janice. Where you've lived has healed you a lot. Yes. And that's interesting. It's made me think of is that I'm planning. I have to put out this as a positive intent. I'm planning to relocate to the United Kingdom. I want another challenge, which is part of the reason for doing it, because I know if I stay here, I'm not going to grow anymore. It's like I've grown as far as I can grow in this location. And it is time for me to move to another place. And I'm choosing the United Kingdom because it's my home. I have family there and I have friends, because it will be a new challenge. And any of you moving house, it's a huge, huge change. Moving country, I can tell you, is another thing altogether. There is so much one has to sort out, but I'm working through it methodically and having faith that the blue light beings will guide me as to the best time for this relocation to take place at the right time. And I have faith in that. And I think, as I said, coming back to crises of faith, there may be something about the sun in Pisces at the moment, conjunct Saturn, which we're really going to have this energy all week, and including around the full moon eclipse on Friday. I think the sun conjunct Saturn also brings up that crisis of faith in the sign of Pisces. Embrace it. Look again at your beliefs. Look again at what or how you operate from a perspective of love, of faith, from your heart. How do you operate? Do you operate from your mind or from your soul, your heart chakra? Where do you operate from? I know that the last few days, what's caught me out is I was stuck up here. I was overthinking everything instead of feeling and knowing and trusting. But you know what's so wonderful about all of this is I'm human. And I recognize it and acknowledge it when I go through a crisis of faith. And I know people that have roles in religious orders, whether it's Catholicism, Hinduism, Islam, Christianity, Zen, Buddhism, anyone who is true to themselves will have crises of faith along the way. It would not be normal, in my humble opinion, to not have a crisis of faith. Now, my word for the week is to reflect the Virgo energy and its service, because I think service to ourselves and to others, to the planet, to that which we can't see, feel, or touch is intrinsically important. Our service to the frequencies of energy and the sort of the light beings, the non-physical entities that are just waiting for all of us to raise our frequency enough to be able to work in harmony and communicate with them, all of us to communicate with them on a regular basis. We can intend that. We just have to say, okay, I'm ready. Show me how. How do I connect? Don't try too hard. Don't use this. Use this. Use your heart. So, what's Simi saying? You're having a hard time following. You'll have to watch later. Ah, you're on pain meds. Oh, you're back. Oh my God. Simi, healing to you. Healing energy to you, Simi. I really, really seriously mean that. Healing energy to you, Simi. So let's look at this word service, because Mahatma Gandhi said, the best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others. Virgo is about service. So there's also something about this full moon eclipse that is about service to the all of the all. Pisces is the all of the all, is the divine. It's the 12th sign of the zodiac. It's everything, and yet it's also where we can feel so lost and so confused, and as if we're drowning in the emotion and the awe of the feeling, of the immensity of the feeling. Muhammad Ali, as a very different kind of quote, said, service to others is the rent you pay for your room here on earth. I think I have to think about that one. I just kind of try, it's so far away from the Mahatma Gandhi one that I can't quite get my head around it. Let's see what Martin Luther King Jr. said. He said, life's most persistent and urgent question is, what are you doing for others? And that is so true. And we have to say, what are our politicians doing for us? Are they self-serving their egos and their bank accounts, or are they serving us? Because we voted them in. Doesn't matter where you are on the planet. We vote our governments in. We vote them in to serve us. But sometimes it seems they serve themselves. Winston Churchill said, we make a living by what we get, but we make a life by what we give. King George VI said, the highest of distinctions is service to others. And you know, I think that is so true because, you know, as a Reiki master healer, as an astrologer, as a therapist, when I serve my clients, yes, there is an energy exchange. It is, you know, an energy exchange is a very important part of service because, yes, we can give some service free, but energy exchange is terribly important because if there is no exchange of energy, it can actually make the other person, the receiver, feel beholden to you. And that is actually entrapping them in a kind of Pisces, kind of invisible cloak of control. And so actually, the energy exchange is incredibly important, I believe, in service. But if you think differently, let me know. And I'm always interested in everybody's take on this. Anne Frank said, no one has ever become poor by giving. Well, that really answers my question. No, of course we don't. And, you know, as many of you know, I will tailor make sessions for returning clients to suit their purses if I feel there is a real need to do that, if that kind of makes sense. And Albert Einstein said, only a life lived for others is a life worthwhile. And that is sort of somehow very important too. Well, I'm just seeing what you're saying, Jim. I just made an excellent point about entrapment. Yeah. Because give. But they don't have to give me any. You don't have to give me anything. I'm doing this because I love you, because I care about you. Actually, that's not service. That is not empowering you to learn about service and the art of giving. Because it is only by the energy exchange that I empower you, because I'm saying you have decided you are worth buying some of my time. It's a really difficult one, and it's a subject that I have discussed on various occasions with various people and clients. Woodrow Wilson said, there is no higher religion than human service. To work for the common good is the greatest creed. Now, that makes me think of charities, because thank you, Jim. Thank you. Because charities have to be funded. They're not going out there. Yes, there are volunteers, but they still have to be given somewhere to sleep and they have to be fed. So there is an energy exchange. Maybe their fares are paid. They're provided with cars or Land Rovers to drive around the desert or whatever, helping refugees. There is always going to be an energy exchange. And Pearl S. Buck said, to serve is beautiful, but only if it is done with joy and a whole heart. Now that is so true, and that is where, if one constantly gives with no energy exchange, the giver eventually becomes resentful of what they are giving, because on an unconscious level, they don't feel they are being valued. What it is they are not valuing themselves. They are not saying, my time is worth XYZ. So it's an interesting kind of conundrum. And you're listening on 1.5 speed. Interesting, Muse Studio. AMAC, yes. Yes, been there. Thank you, Jim Lamberson. Dieter F. Uchtdorf said, as we lose ourselves in the service of others, we discover our own lives and our own happiness. Yes, but we have to value ourselves. And if we go back to the beginning of what I was talking about today with Mercury conjunct retrograde Venus on Tuesday, Venus is about our self-worth. Why don't we use retrograde Venus to learn about self-worth? When I was doing my navel gazing over the last couple of days and deciding to be very self-critical and having a huge crisis of faith about anything and everything I do is rubbish kind of thing. And I'm not looking for sympathy. I'm also not looking for validation. I'm quite capable of validating myself, although validation is very nice to have. But I can critically look at my work and go, yes, that's okay, and no, that's not. And that's not. I don't want to put that on my channel. So what I'm saying is Venus retrograde gives us a chance to look at what we're worth. What are you worth? And if you can't put a value on yourself, why not? Can you find a way or find, oh, bless you, Shirley. Oh, Oh, that is so, so, so very sweet. Shirley's given me a wee energy exchange. Thank you, Shirley. I really appreciate. Thank you. That really is very, very touching. Thank you. And you know, I don't do Patreon. I actually, the reason I don't do Patreon, I mean, I would love to do some of those things and do these things where I can have a sort of private community, so I can absolutely say what I want and have lots of interactive videos with you. But first of all, I don't actually think I have the physical time at the moment. I just, there's too much in my head. Secondly, I don't it's too much work. And also, yeah, okay, Patreon means there is an energy exchange, but maybe that comes to me in different ways. Venus retrograde. Let's finish on this note. Use Venus retrograde to value yourself, to look at maybe ways that you don't value yourself. What are you saying, Jim? You're in your depth and power today and showing us how you get there. I hope so. And thank you. Thank you so much, Jim. Yes, I really do hope I do that. It touches a chord in your heart, Poonam. What's my worth and how much can I allow others to keep taking? Energy exchange is a phrase to remember. Blue fox splits. This is wonderful, Shirley. Parry, the golden rule is a worldwide view of reciprocity and clarity of our standards of life with kindness and nurturing. Yes. And, you know, if we don't value ourselves, who will? You know, we get a lot of examples on the world stage of people who overvalue themselves. And when they overvalue themselves, their egos get so inflated, it makes us feel uncomfortable. And because I don't think they're doing any inner self-reflection and think they're just looking for the validation. They're just looking for the glory. They're just looking for the stroke to the ego. And so, you know, I think that how we can end this is that this week is going to be, I think, a very interesting week. That's a good way to say that, isn't it? It is an interesting week. It's going to be, I'm looking forward to next Sunday when I'm here to do the live week ahead forecast once again. There will be some Astro Bites this week, which I'm going to record, obviously. And my cat, one of my cats has just done one of those zoomies down the corridor, and I could hear her little paws slipping on the tiles. It's like zoom. She's gone. So I think she's telling me it's time to eat. They want their supper. Listen, guys, as always, thank you from the bottom of my heart, from the depths of my soul, for your support, for your loyalty, for your love, for your donations, for your inquiries about having sessions with me. And remember, as I'm saying that, if you do want to have a one-to-one session with me, whether it's a follow-up or a first time session, natal session plus transits and a general chat about everything, then email me. The email address is on my website, but the email address is penny@pennydix.com and the website is pennydix.com. Very easy to remember. And you know, I love the interaction I have with you. I really do. I love this interaction. I just absolutely adore it. I look forward to it on a Sunday night. I fret about it all day, and then of course it all turns out fine. And when I start them, sometimes I'm thinking, oh, I don't know what to say. I don't know what I'm going to say. I don't know what I'm going to say. And I look at the charts, and they're just a jumble of symbols and numbers, and I have no idea. And then suddenly, ding, ding, I'm in the zone. So, oh, bless you, Carrie. Thank you. I thoroughly enjoyed meeting you, Carrie. And, you know, bearing in mind what Carrie is saying, you know, I enjoy our sessions, our one-to-one sessions, just as much as hopefully you on the receiving end do. I learn so much from you all as well, because I'm constantly working on learning more about myself, refining the way I work with astrology, tuning in, encouraging the interaction and the growth and the empowerment of others. That is my huge wish, is to empower all of you, to empower yourselves, to be your own therapists, to be your own astrologers, to be your own teachers. So have a great week. I really am going to go now. And the cats are desperately wanting me to feed them. And I'm going to feed me as well. So thank you, Poonam. Thank you, all of you. And I look forward to seeing you very soon. I didn't do a tarot today. There's not time. I'm going to switch off now. Okay, I'll see you next time. Thanks so much for joining me. Please remember, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you soon. Bye for now. Bye, guys. Bye.